everyone, it's Vicky here from Crafty Heaven, and thank you very much for joining me today. And today I'm going to be showing you how I made my design team project for Simply Made Crafts. So this has little note cards inside, and it's a box within a sleeve, and everybody loved it and wanted to know how I made it. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So this is the one we are making. I'll put a picture of the one that I made for my design team so you can see that they are two different colors and papers used for that one, and yeah, I think they're both stunning. So if you haven't seen this, then this box just slides out of the sleeve, and I'll show you the die set for that one in just a second. And then we have this box that has 4 note cards inside. So this is actually going to be put in my craft fair store that I'm having at my church in October, and I just thought it was a nice little item that someone might want to buy. So the die set I've used for the sleeve is the Simply Made Crafts mug wrap and treat box die set. So this is what it actually looks like, but I adapted mine, so I just missed out the box on the bottom. So the box at the bottom, you could add chocolates in, and then obviously you've got the sleeve so you can put your mug in, and you could add some marshmallows and hot chocolate in there, make it a nice gift for someone at Christmas or any occasion really. But yeah, I wanted to adapt it so I could make a sleeve for this box. So we are using some other dies and stamps, and also the beautiful papers from the Simply Made Crafts Handmade with Love collection, but I will show you them later on in the video. So let's get on and make this project. So we're going to start off by making our sleeve for our box to go in. The cardstock that I'll be using throughout this tutorial is the Creative Craft products, and this is their white super smooth A4 cardstock 300 and GSM, and also their mixed colors pack. I have die cut these out already just to save time, but I'm going to tell you which dies I've used. So we need to cut 2 pieces of white cardstock using this die here. So I have them ready, and we will need to cut 2 of these. So I've used this lilac color card, and that will go on there. So we'll have one on the front and then one on the back, and then I've die cut 2 of these, and that's what they look like. And they will go on there. But I want to just reinforce those score lines that are on these pieces here, so then our card won't crack, and also it will be easier to fold. So I'm just lining up those score lines in the tracks on my scoreboard and just going over them again. So these pieces down. So like I said earlier, they will go on there, and then these will go on there. Make sure those holes line up with each other. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue them down. So now we're going to make the box for our cards to go in, and you will need 2 pieces of white cardstock, one that measures 8 7/8 by 6 3/4, and then your next piece is 8 3/8 by 6 3/4. Okay, so we're going to start off by scoring our 8 7/8 by 6 3/4 piece, and along the 8 7/8 of an inch side we will score at 2 1/8 6 1/4 and 8 3/8. Along the 6 3/4 inch side, we will score at 2 1/8 and 6 1/4. The second piece, along the 8 3/8 of an inch side, we will score at 2 1/8, 6 1/4, and again the same on the 6 3/4 inch side, 2 1/8 and 6 1/4. And then we need to fold on our score lines and just burnish them with your bone folder. Okay, so I've got my templates here, so I know where I need to cut. So on the 6 3/4 inch side, we have our 1/2 inch tab on the right hand side and our 2 1/8 of an inch on the left. So we're going to start off on the 2 1/8 of an inch side, and we're going to cut up this score line here, and then we're going to cut this whole section off, including this tab, completely off, like so. Okay, then we're going to come to the top section, and I'm going to turn it around, and we're going to just cut straight up this score line here, like so. So we've got this tab here, and I'm just going to give that a slight trim. So you're basically cutting out that score line that you did. Okay, and then we're going to come to this 1/2 inch section here, and we're going to cut that off completely. Okay, so that's our first piece done, so that can be put to one side. We're going to come to the next one, and this is what we need to have it looking like. So this time we have a 1/2 inch panel to the left and a 1/2 inch panel on the bottom. So we're going to come to the 1/2 inch panel that's on the bottom, and you see we have this tiny square in the corner, and then we've got this rectangle. We're going to cut both those pieces off, and also we're going to cut this rectangle off in this corner as well. Okay, and then we're going to come to this top section, and we're going to cut off this small rectangle off completely. And then we're going to just cut up this score line here and this score line here. And we want to give that a trim as well. So just basically cut those score lines away. Okay, turn that round and do the same again. Is we need to assemble these two together. So we need to add some glue to the outside of this tab here, and then that's going to get glued on top like so. So I'm going to add my liquid glue, and place that over the top and press that down. And then this 1/2 inch tab, we need to add some glue, and then this side is going to get joined on to there. Okay, so that's what that looks like. So we have the top part of the box, and then we have the base. So we have this seam here, so this will be the back of your box. So we need to fold in the smaller tabs first, then the tab that is where the seam is at the back needs to go next, and then the tab that's at the front of the box needs to go last, so that's facing towards where that seam is. So I'm going to add my glue onto this one here. Can glue that down and just go in with a ruler or even your hand and just press that down. So I've got my corner rounder and I'm just going to round that like so, and then that will get folded over and get tucked in there like so. And there we go, that is our box. Fold on our score lines. So this first score line here we're going to fold as a valley fold. Okay, so fold that back on itself. The second one we're going to do as a mountain fold, and then the third one here you're actually going to leave that, but I accidentally folded it, but it doesn't matter. We're going to add an extra score line just further down, and you're not going to see this score line anyway because it's going to get covered up. So if you do accidentally fold it, do not worry about it. Okay, so again on this one, valley fold, mountain fold, leave that score line alone. Then what I did is I got my box and I lined up the top of the box with that second score line here. So I folded that over my box, and then I just got a pencil or a pen, whichever, and I'm just going to tick mark just slightly past the bottom of that box. Okay, so that's where I'm going to add my score line. The measurement, so then if you didn't want to tick mark it, you can just use the score measurement. So I will be scoring it at 2 inches from the bottom of the sleeve. Okay, line up that tick mark, which like I said is at 2 inches, so you can just give that a score. Okay, again we're going to do the same for this one. Line that up and score at 2. Then we're going to fold on that score line and we're going to do a mountain fold. Okay, so there we go. And like I said, you're not going to see this score line here because we're going to add a decorative card on the front, so that will get covered up. So I'm going to fold on this score line, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to add some glue on one of these bottom panels here, and then we can line that up together. And then you can do a test run by putting your box in there, and then that all should fold over nicely, and that will secure your box in there to you. So I'm going to add my glue. Okay, and then seal that up. Okay, so that's now glued, and then we can add our box in there. But because we've not got anything on the front and the back of this, it will be a bit flimsy. So when you do a test run with your box, you might find that your box will have a bit of difficulty getting in there because we haven't got any structure to this sleeve yet to make it sturdier. Okay, but it will go in, as you can see. So now what we need to do is add our card and decorative paper to the front and the back, and add a bow there, and then we can decorate the box and make some cards to go inside. Okay, so I have gone ahead and added all my paper and started to make the cards just to save time, but I'm going to go through the measurements with you. So first of all, I've added my decorative piece on the front and on the back. So the purple, well, the lilac cardstock measures 4 by 4. The white piece measures 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then the pattern paper is 3.5 by 3.5. And then I just decorated it using the gorgeous Sweet Treat paper pack. And the other dies and stamps I have used is the mini picnic basket die set for the bow, the Handmade with Love stamps and die set, and then I've used the twisted bonbon cracker die for this heart decoration here. So you'll see them throughout these other makes here. So that's what that looks like, and I think it's gorgeous. And then obviously I've done that on the back. So because that is all sturdied up now, the box will slide in there a lot easier. I've also gone ahead and added my papers to this. So for the front and the back of the box, this measures 4 by 4. Then the side, the lilac one is 2 by 3 7/8. The white piece is 1 7/8 by 3 3/4. The paper is 1 3/4 by 3.5, and obviously I've repeated the same on the other side. I've just cut out the icing drip to go on there as well, so that will slide in there. Then we have our cards. So I've got 4 here. Well, I've made 3, and the other one I'm going to do with you in just a second. So here is the first one, then that one, and that one. So I've mixed the sentiments up, so you know whoever gets this can have a mixture of different cards. And then this one I'm going to make with you. So for the card base, this measures 7 3/4 by 3 7/8, and along the 7 3/4 inch side you will score at 3 7/8. Okay, so then you just fold that in half, and obviously you do this for your other card as well. Your lilac piece measures 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So we're going to attach that one first. Then our patterned paper is 3.5 by 3.5. I'm going to add that one next. And then I've cut the icing drip, and that's going to go on there. And then I've cut these out with my oval stitch dies. So I've done one in lilac and then one in white, and then I stamped the homemade sentiment on there. And I'm going to glue this one down with some liquid glue, and the lilac one I've added some foam pads behind that one. And then finally I'm just going to add some rhinestones. I've done that to the rest of them, and for that I've used these gorgeous rhinestones, and this is the Little Ilico. Yeah, so that is our 4 cards. So then we can just add them inside the box. And you can see that we've got room for more if you want to add some, but I'm just going to leave it as the 4. So then pop the lid back on, and then we can slide this back in there. Add some ribbon. Yeah, and I think this is so cute. I don't know which one's my favorite, this one or the one I made for my design team. So yeah, I love the icing drips, and the waffle paper. I just think it's gorgeous. So there we go, guys, that is how we make this project, and I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If so, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to check down below for all the links for any products that's used in today's video, and also go and pop over to Helen's YouTube channel as well as her Simply Made Crafts YouTube channel as well, and links will be down below for that as well. So till next time guys, take care, see you very soon, bye for now.